Okay, so it's 4:10 on the 6th. And I swear to God, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. There's like all these things, but I just feel super scattered. I feel like, um, so let's just see what is up. Last night I was so conked out. It's so nice when Stella sleeps good. Um, and I was in some of the craziest dreams. God, they were so crazy. And they're so deep. They're so like real seeming. And then when I wake up, it's just like I come out of that world all of a sudden, and I'm laying there, and then I like reevaluate what was just happening, and then it's like I don't know. Sometimes I want to go back in there. I think sometimes I do. I have done that. I have woke up from a dream and then put myself back in the dream and went back to sleep. Um, one of them was horrible though. One of them was so creepy. It was at my old house, and it was a nightmare dream. It was horrible. It was people. It was like that movie Strangers, I think it is, when these people come to your door and they're trying to get in. And I don't even remember it all now, but it was so creepy. But this one last night, well, there was a few, but this one last night, I was um, moving and packing, and I had such a mess. I even had like a big Barbie house. I was like, even in my mind, I was like, why do I have the Barbie house? And I was trying to move out of a camper into an apartment or something. I don't know. It was all these like small spaces. There was stuff everywhere. It was really, I don't know. It's probably because I want to get my own place, and I feel like I'm got all my stuff crammed in. I even went up to storage yesterday to get some more sundresses because I was like, ugh, I feel like I'm just wear the same thing every fucking day. And then, so I went up there and bought a bunch more sundresses, which I swear to God, it feels like summer's gonna be over soon. And it's like, get the winter clothes out. It's just like we just go boom, 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 boom. It's just everything's moving so fast. But there's tons of all these astrology people all keep saying August is going to change. But I swear to God, they've sent this so many times. This is when everything changes. I don't know. I mean, this is just drug on and on and on to me. So I'm just like, oh, wherever it changes, just come on, let's have some change. But it's so weird to just see how the people are so, God, I don't know. It kind of gets creepy, you know? Like this video, um, so there's this one video, and I'm not sure where it's at, but it's after the volcano, and all these things coming up out of the water. And so when I don't know if it's what the camera is that's seeing it. I don't know. It's a drone. Who knows? We're supposedly being watched all the time, and then we have AI or whatever leaking stuff out. Like I've seen actual AI people on thing that it's like their channel or something, but they're AI. I don't know. It's weird. But I know that there is disclosure coming out around us all over the place. Which also, if you use ChatGPT, I just saw guys saying it is totally it's invading into your information, into all. I didn't watch the whole thing because I don't do ChatGPT. I just heard him say that. Please share, because he wants it to go viral. He wants everybody to know, and so beware of the Chat GPT, which I just saw a girl who was, talking about how great her skin is and everything, and she doesn't do fillers and injections and all that stuff. And she was getting this cream out and showing, that she puts it all over her face and she lets it sit there for a while. And it said something about vitamin A or something. And then when she put it all over her face, then she said something about retinol. I was like, retinol's so bad. So, you're not putting it out on, you're not putting it in, it absorbs. But even when retinol was popular, when I was in my 40s or something, late 40s, I think I asked the doctor, can I get some retinol? And she said, yeah, you can have some, but problem is if you start using it, that once you put it on your skin starts becoming addicted to it. And if you stop using it, your skin ages real quick. So you can start using it, but all of the aging that your skin would have done naturally will catch up all of a sudden if you ever stop using it. So you go looking good, looking like you're 100 all of a sudden or something. Because it gets worse. It's not just like it does a little bit. No, she said it goes past. Like your skin, I don't know, turns into a raisin or something as soon as you stop using it because your skin needs it or wants it or something. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody, things are just so out of whack. People are so out of whack. But anyways, on these beans or whatever, because I know that all this stuff is out there. I know that there's mermaids. Mermaids is like the fantasy folklore, or it's like the words, just like them naming the dark energy that attaches to you as being devils and demons, and the aquatic creatures or aquatic aliens or aquatic beings, whatever you want to think, that are humanoid, humanoid amphibian type of thing, that they're called mermaids, and then the people think, oh, well, that's not true. There's no such thing as that. That's a fantasy. It's like, man, I swear to God, I've had these arguments for so long. I've been laughed at, told how ridiculous I am. I mean, it's weird. I mean, at this point, to me, it's weird. I used to think it was weird when I was younger, and I'd be talking about Bigfoot, and people would be, oh, there's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as aliens. There's no such thing as this. There's no such... It's like, what? What in the world? But now, at this point, I'm just like, y'all are just whacked out. And you sit there and think, oh no, that's it. We're just human. We're spinning on a ball out in space. There's nothing else. It's like, okay, y'all are wacky. Like, I don't get it. And but so these beings, whatever, come up, and so the one video, it seemed like a little far, but it definitely looked like people, heads popping up out of the water. And so then people are, oh, that's AI, that's this, that's, and then there's a video I just saw, and it's off of Chile, and which, it could be AI or whatever, but I still know that these aquatic beings are down there, so it would still, to me, be a way for people to begin to open their minds. But people are just totally resistant. People are just like, no, that's not real. That's not real. And so this guy was showing this video that's supposed to be off of Chile, and it's an aquatic being, and with this crazy ass long tail. It was not just like, it was a crazy tail. It was really cool looking. But and I commented, but there was one other comment, and they're like, oh, a bunch of people out cosplay mermaid and stuff. Like, people just can't wrap their heads around the supernatural part of existence. They think it's not real. And it's so weird, because in the past, where folklore comes from is because people were aware. People did know that all this stuff was out there. But then we get to this point, and we just have a bunch of programmed, indoctrinated robots walking around that just focus on money and, I don't know, plastic surgery. It's just weird. It's so shallow and so artificial in this world. And I saw another video of this guy talking again to the spiritual, or to these people who, I guess all these people do these videos. So they start waking up, and they go, follow the trend on spirituality, and go buy themselves some crystals, and I don't know, you got all these people who do spells and all that stuff, which you got to learn about energy. You don't just go and start pulling in energy of any old such a thing, because you're, especially in this vibration, just like what I was saying, when you are going out of your body to astral project and stuff, you got to be aware that you are going in a low vibration area. Like we're in a lower vibration realm. So when you're going out of your spacesuit, your avatar, and you're going in to explore this place, and yeah, to me, it seems dangerous. Like, especially when you don't know what you're doing. These people, they see somebody open a door and they just go right on in. It's like, man, you got to understand more about the spiritual world. Yeah, like some of these people, like they just don't go out and learn anything. It's the weirdest thing. But his video, hold on. His video was saying, you guys go and you start thinking the spirituality is demons and devils, and you got to get over to religion and have Jesus save you. And it was such a good thing that you left spirituality to get over to religion, to get Jesus to save you. It's like, that is going so backwards. So backwards. And in spirituality, it's like, what are you looking for? You're looking for a savior? You're looking to control the life or something? And it's not about controlling life. Things continue to happen. It's just your perspective is different. And yeah, you're going to have to battle through the dark energy to get to your light. And the dark energy is attached to you. And you can think of it as beings if you want to, like however you want to think of it. It doesn't have the same intelligence as beings, like I've said. It's more parasitic, and it more attaches to emotion and what your emotion is. So if you're angry, and then I've explained this before, but so if you're angry, you're just pissed off all the fucking time, and then you go to a mall and you're walking through the mall, then it depends on your vibration compared to somebody else. So you walk past somebody who's angry as well, only they are feeling a little better. They've simmered down, but yours is just hot. Then you're walking past them. The energy on them is going to be more comfortable on you. So that energy is going to release off of them and pull towards you. And then it's going to attach to you. And then you're walking around, and then it's going to start feeding you information to keep you angry. And you think it's your own thoughts. And so it's going to build off of your anger because it feeds off of that emotion. So it's going to build that emotion up. And then you've got more attaching to you. So then you have more to get rid of. And so when you are raising your vibration, you are going to have all this energy that is stuck on you that's going to keep trying to pull you back. Like when you get triggered, it's going to try and have you go into ego, have you fight, have you angry, and stuff like that. You got to work through that in order to release it. And once you keep releasing it, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel like, oh God, I feel lighter. But it's work. It's work, and that is the finding your balance. And so many people are so lost in the dark. They don't even, it's like they have no awareness of the light or something. And so it's hard to explain. Confirmation. It's hard to explain when people are so unaware of this world, and that they are so resistant to what is real, because spirituality and your spirit in what that world is, that life is real. This one, where people give all their energy and all of their attention, isn't real. And they try and do everything they can to make it more real, to make it be what's real. It's like, this isn't real. Man, I was outside yesterday and I was just spraying the fuck. So, got the allergies. But so the energy that, because everything is energy and vibration. And in your soul, like I've said, is a higher vibration. You come into a lower vibration. because in a higher vibration, you don't experience pain and trauma and anything. So it's like you, in a higher vibration, you would never have an understanding of what you would do. You know, it's only half of you. It's like you don't have the whole of you. And so the journey in the yin and the yang, you know, it's the back and forth. It gives you a completeness to you as a soul. And so your soul, which is, you know, a little fireball, and go anywhere it wants to go, and it can go into these storylines. And in the storylines, you have your whole, you know, like all these vibratory, you know, it's like, to me, it's like some of this stuff's so hard to explain. Because it's like, it's like, okay, imagine a rainbow and all of the colors in the rainbow. And then you go up closer and closer and closer to the rainbow. Then you start seeing the separation, the little particles. So every little particle that creates the rainbow. So it is like a color scheme, a vibration. It's like, so all of these particles create the rainbow of all the spectrum of color. And every color is a different vibration. And so you are a tone, a color, a vibration. And so you, as, because I kind of see, you know, if we were in our soul form, in our, like in a certain aspect of the heavens, that it is color, like a rainbow that just moves. It's just movement and color. And that, and we're each a little, you know, spectrum of a little cell, like the pixel of the color. And so all of us make up this pixel of this color. But in your area, like where you are, that's all the same vibration. That to me is like your soul group. And that is like where you aren't just in signing contracts. Like, I don't know what I just don't. I mean, there's lots of people who believe like we go in to a room all together and that we decide on storylines and stuff. But I don't know. To me, it's kind of like a thought. It's not like we go in and totally discuss it. It's like we can just think it. And so, and we look like the vibration that's the closest to you, like, thinks at the same time, like we are a thought together. And so I don't know, it could be on some level, you know, on the heavens we stay like that. But then it would be like, so all of your different people are out living lives, and then you got to pull everybody back to come up with a new storyline or something. I don't know. To me, it's like in our true existence of us as beings of light particles of color and tone, that's where, I don't know, it's kind of like that's what we are. And then everything outside of that is a thought. It's an experience. And it's how much you can give an experience focus. And, but to me, it's like that's kind of like where we come together. Okay, she's on the move. Hold on. I don't want to knock my thing. It's already fallen once this morning. What are you doing, girl? Anyways, to me, I don't know. I feel like we are, we're just going to do circles right underneath. Oh, no, she's getting rid of it again. She's got a bed over here. She's got a bed over there. She's got a bed in the tent. Okay. So, anyways, I don't know. It seems like to me in our truest form, we're just color and light and vibration. And we have, we're not just completely independent. That's why when we go back to our source, that we feel complete, because we go back together. And that's kind of like why when there's still somebody, like there's still people in, when people come to greet you when you come out. And so when you come out of the game, it's like, I don't know, it's like your group is waiting for you. And to me, like, I don't know, because you can go into any world in any existence. So I don't know, there's a weird thing about that whole thing, because it's like you're an energy that can put on like these meta goggles or whatever, these goggles that give you the idea of being real, of being alive, of experiencing. And so it's like we are energy, but we don't need the goggles. We just need to focus. And then when we can focus, we can go into experience. And so, I don't know, I think people look at reincarnation too materialistic, too solid, too, like we're solid beings that go and do all this stuff. But we're not. We're like energetic little sparks, or like little fireballs. And then in this vibration, though, where people think it's so real, it's not real. And then, but everything is like having these goggles on that give you the feeling of what it would feel like to be real and to feel what these would feel like. But in this domain, these beings have taken over, like they have interfered with your vibration so that you focus on this as being real, and then it gives us this concept that we are really flesh and blood, we are really this, we're really that, when we aren't what they try and convince us that we are. But to me, you start under deeper understanding when you really focus on your spirit. This idea of spirituality as a religion or something is off base. It is focusing on you as the being inside of this. So what's inside of this is my soul, which this was a weird conversation I had yesterday. Because, what was it we were talking about? Oh yeah, I want to say something about that. One of those guys. It wasn't Charlie Kirk. I don't know who this guy was. But, so hateful. I went up there to get something, and he was on, and he was raggedy ass, and on, there's some news reporter who's a liberal or something, and he was just going on and on. Oh my God, I can't believe there's an attractive liberal. Oh my God, they're all so ugly. He's just going on. I was like, what a dick. See? I just can't even stand listening to that kind of stuff. I don't, oh my God. And he was, oh, my mom would be so mad if she, and this is an older guy. My mom would be so mad if she knew I said that there was an attractive liberal. I was like, what in the fuck, dude? Jesus Christ. And you've got a fucking show. You're out there spreading your hate and division. Fuck. Anyways, so, with some conversation, maybe it was something with the suicide situation, which I just saw a woman talking about. She seems all depressed in her bed, And she's saying, what do you guys think about the assisted suicide? What do you think that, you know, that over in Canada, anybody know anything about that? And all this stuff. Like, go look it up. Like, these people, yeah, just walk up. It's like, yeah, I want to be killed. Okay. And, but they aren't, maybe this was the conversation, because I told my mom, well, they aren't really, I said, when I was a nurse, I saw that it didn't matter if you tried to kill yourself. That's not an automatic out. That I saw people live from it all the time. And that would be their lessons of the whatever damage they caused to themselves. And there's lessons behind it. And there's, you know, everything has a journey. Everything is a life journey. And so, and I said that you can't, it's not an automatic thing. In that machine, I've said it on here before, is a soul sucker. They're just removing consciousness, they're removing the soul from the body. And my mom's like, they can't do that. And I was like, yeah, they can. They're already doing it. And she's like, no, they can't. You cannot take someone's soul. A soul is like this vague thing and stuff. I was like, well, they're already doing it. They're already removing him. And it's not a fucking vague thing. Your soul is, oh my God, I just don't understand how, you gotta connect to the soul so you can understand how real it is. And you start to understand this isn't real. Nothing is real except for your soul. The energy, the power behind who you are. And you have to figure out how to get control of it and direct it. And down here in this realm, it's a battlefield, because you get all this low vibrational energy that attaches to you, and you get completely out of balance, and you got to pull yourself back into balance by connecting into your truth, into your soul, into your source of who you are. It's supposed to storm day. I thought I already heard thunder. I don't know, could have been her snoring. Hold on. I was gonna try and finish it, but it's too full. But it's getting cold. Doesn't that just sound so noisy? It's like not even 4:30 or something in the morning. Oh, might be 4:30. It's like, what in the hell? I'm telling you, it's the atmosphere is changing sound waves. It's changing how sound moves. And it's the atmosphere merging with these other atmospheres on a vibration, which now I guess the government has said that this big alien ship that's coming at us is going to be here way sooner. It's going to be here way sooner than November. And I don't know. I think there's a mix on that. So many people are like, well, just have them take me. I'll be glad to get out of here and stuff, because this place is so hellacious. This is hell. Confirmation. People just don't get it. They don't get, like, we are in the lowest vibration. Like, if you were to take that, unless you're the total dark energy, like, to not have any intelligence and just be desperately trying to attach to things, then I mean, to experience that, it's got to be some pretty low vibration. That would be pretty hellish. But hold on. So powdery. So, anyways, so the so in spirituality, it is connecting into your soul, like who you are in your essence. Get the powder off my teeth. So, and these people that they need a savior because they don't know how to. Jesus, loud today. What the fuck? Maybe today's the day everything changes. Fuck, I hope so. I'm ready, man. Whatever's gonna, and there's good. I mean, they've come up now with a new thing called a cloud burst, where the cloud just opens up and just drops a fucking, like the dam opens up and the river comes out of the clouds. It took out a whole village in India. In, I think in China, one happened too. In the, I don't know if it's Shanghai or someplace big, has a huge ordeal happening. They were already with the high temperatures, because some of these places are reaching like 150 degrees. And cars have been melting. People have been passing, like it's bad. And so some of these other places are just going through it, man. But then over in this one, it now has a huge flood. And they don't know, because it did it after the one in India. And then here in America, we have some weird shit that's about to go down. On the radar tracker thing, there's some big, huge anomalies in the water again. There's two heading for the East Coast. The one is really close. And the people who are watching this are like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's huge and it's long. And then there's another one right behind it. Behind that one, I think there's two more. And then there's one over off the coast of Mexico. So I don't know. I have no idea what they are. What, you know, I know the water is going to rise. I know we're going to have some really huge disasters. And so, I don't know. I don't know if this is, because there's ones that are coming in and just wiping places out, just like, you know, like in North Carolina and stuff. We've got all sorts of places that are being wiped out by these, the dam malfunctions and stuff. But, you know, these cloud bursts or whatever the fuck. So, anyways, with these anomalies coming in off the water that are going to probably be high winds. And, what was the one? Maybe it was a typhoon, but they said just disaster China. It might have been a typhoon. But anyways, all of the different places, all the coastlines are in danger. All of them. All the islands. I'd already seen one island that they said it's underwater. It's not all the way underwater. It's like up to your waist or something. And the government in that area they are saying, you know, well, we're kind of stuck, so better get a boat. Because what are you going to do when the ocean comes over? What are you going to do? You can't fight the ocean. And so in the new maps, like I think in Hawaii, all those islands are going to be gone, I think, except for one little part that's way up in the mountains. There's going to be all sorts of changes. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming, you know, and people aren't paying any attention to it. They're not concerned. They, you know, they focus on the list. Give me the list. It's like, fuck, dude. Then, so anyways, whatever. We got these big anomalies coming in. Now tell them what the hell they're going to do. I would say there's going to be horrible storms. There's going to be floods, and we will probably lose some places. And who knows if it's going to be every place all of a sudden at once. And, I don't know. I mean, anything can happen. And maybe the earth is ready to change as much as some of us are. It's as anxious to get the fucking show on the road as some of us. So I don't know, but anyways, but your soul is what's alive. What makes you alive? That's your soul, and it is like an orb, and they most certainly do know how to take it. They already are telling us now in their science things that they can remove your consciousness and put it in a new body. So they've been able to do this stuff for a long time. It's been in the movies for a long time. One of those movies I saw about it was like fucking from the 40s or something. I'm sure they probably knew how to do it before they even did this reset, before our world became in existence. I'm sure they knew how to do it. So because all the advanced beings that have tried to come and help, they've taken their stuff and their knowledge and then used it against us, refused to help humanity. And so at some point, the other beings had to stop trying to help. Like, you know, like they came over the airwaves or whatever. But back in the day, when we were like tribes and stuff, they would just come down and offer their assistance, and people would take it, and they would interact with these other beings. And then in the folklore or whatever, or the old stories, some of them thought they were gods and stuff like that, but they were just advanced beings that have come in to try and help us advance. When they what was that one I said? Valiant. What is that guy's name? I said it a bunch of times the other week. But that one being that came, and he went, and this has been in a bunch of shows too, that he came and he tried to talk to the government and say that he had information to help us, to help humanity and stuff, and they didn't want to help us. And then they killed him. Well, he came right back. Then they killed him again and came right back. Valiant Thor, I think is his name. And then he, so then they dismembered him or something and threw him out all over the place. And he came back all put together. And so that's what we have the ability to do when we realize that we're not flesh and blood, but we got to get ourselves out of this concept that they have got people so trapped in. And because none of this is real. Like, the vibration changes, then you change. As we go into a higher vibration, that's where we're going to start becoming more, like, we're not going to, I think everybody's going to get to be looking like 35 years old and stay around there. People are not going to be old and stuff. Oh, I forgot to say about the other day about that couple that was found on that ship. I was so, or on their, they had gone on a sailing thing in like 1999 or 1996 or something. They went out sailing, and I don't know, I think they were going to go like from Florida to Chile or something. I don't know, they were on some sailing trip, and a big storm came in and they disappeared. And they were never found. They were after, I think it's 3 or 5 years of a person out at sea that disappears, then you can then the government says, okay, you can consider them dead, and you can have their death certificate. They're lost at sea, they're gone. So they put them in, you know, as being dead. Then but now 25 years later, they've shown up, and their boat, so they created a vessel out of garbage and stuff like that. And so they made their own raft thing and made it into a ship, made it into a garden, made it, like, it's crazy what they did, and survived out there for 25 years. And they look good, man, they look good. And the guy has got all white hair, but he still looks good. They need some copper. But the lady, she doesn't even barely look like she aged. They were very attractive because I saw the old picture of them, so they're still very attractive. And then on the boat, they had like plastic jugs and containers that they used to grow plants in, so they were able to survive out there. And then a ship or something just found them like 1,000 miles off. It's so crazy how big the ocean is. It's so creepy. But so they found them and rescued them, and the people, they were enjoying their life on the ship, but they said they're glad to be rescued, but they're going to miss their boat. But they went out there and lived for 25 years while everybody thought they were dead, and here they are back. And that is that's quite a life journey. That's quite a story. Anyways, it's I found that really interesting. But but the government has known, you know, about our soul and stuff. They've had all these beings come down and trying to help. And so at some point, these other beings had to, out on the ocean. Yeah, you would. Because you would have no interference. You're on the water. So you would get a lot of communication, and the communication would be to assist you and give you things if that was your life journey. I mean, some people, you know, that's not their life journey. Their journey is to die and get out of here. But theirs was to survive and come back as this miraculous story. But you would have communication that would And the universe would have, like, here goes a jug floating by 1,000 miles off. So, grab that jug and fill it with water and grow some plants. Like, where do they even get the seeds and stuff? So, I don't know. They'll probably have more stories and stuff to tell. But I would say they would definitely have communication going, even if they didn't have awareness of it. But a lot of people think like, well, I pray and then I get answers. I meditate and then I get answers. It's communication all the time. So it's however you tune into the communication. I think Tesla, I think Edgar Casey, they would go into some kind of meditation or something. I think Edgar Casey or something said he would go lay down and go to sleep or something. But anyways, they're always communicating. And so I would think, yeah, they probably did have assistance to help them survive, because they probably were putting that out there into the ethers of the world, of the universe, and the answers come. But anyways, so the government continued to control us and not give us the stuff that would help us. But they have taken on the technology. Like, they have all these, they know how to do all this shit, and they use it against us. But that's where the other beings, because they tried to help and they couldn't, and but they do speak to individuals, but just like they spoke to me ever since I was a kid. And then you try and tell people and people think you're crazy. So it's like, it doesn't help humanity that much, because I mean, it could help me through my life, get through my life in a positive way. But it doesn't, I could try and tell people, but people won't listen. I did try and tell people, but people won't listen. They just think you're crazy. But whatever. Then, but so there is, communication out there that does try and help us, but they have had to step back. And so in the communication, if you are a receiver and you listen, then you are using your own free will to listen to them, right? They're not just coming in and rescuing us. And so they can't just come in and rescue us. And they've tried to come in like they have before to give more information, probably after resets. So they probably come in to try and help, but then our government became more and more controlling and more powerful, more and more strength. And so they couldn't battle that, but it was like we had to learn how to save ourselves. So we had to connect to ourselves. But that's what's so weird, is how many people are so disconnected, even when they go towards spirituality. It's like, what are you going towards? What are you trying to do? You're just trying to say, oh, I'm spiritual, I have crystals. It's like, there's way more to it than that, and you don't need any fucking crystal. Well, I have this one, but I never had crystals my whole life. I didn't even know anything about them. And this one I got because it was when Stella got super sick that time. I mean, she's been sick her whole life, but when she had that stroke or whatever happened, then I was trying to find the med bed thing. And I think it was Amy told me that there's some, but no, it was off of that show. I think she told me that show. I can't remember this guy's name, but he was interviewing this med bed lady. But it's the energy enhanced system. So it's not the mid beds like that they use in the military. It's just a vibration thing that raises your vibration and heals your cells and stuff. But it's not the same one as the military, which this one, to me, you need one in your house. You need to have one of these. You have to have access to it all the time. You can't just go in and it's going to fix everything. So you have to do all this detoxing and everything before you go in it. But they sell these, and they quantum charge them because they're quantum. There's a quantum med bed with this vibration and all this. It's like all these TV screens, and they all have this different sound wave going, and all these different colors and stuff. So then, so anyways, that they charge these with the quantum healing raised vibration, and they're supposed to stay charged forever. So anyways, And I bought a whole bunch of crystals, and then I took them with me when I went to the med bed, and I charged them, and then I made all my family necklaces, but I think the only person who wears them is my grandson, and he goes through them all the time because he loses them all the time. It's like, don't take it off. I never, ever take mine off. And so anyways, but nobody else wears them. Nobody gets thing. And I don't know, if it helps with the healing or whatever, but, I'd rather have this higher vibration thing around, I don't know. So anyways, but I don't know. It's like the people who all decided to become spiritual, it was fake and phony. They weren't really trying to get in connection with their soul or their spirit, and they were just trying to jump on board to a trend. It became too trendy. But, being spiritual for how many decades? 4 decades? Over 4 decades, being spiritual for, well, I started when I was a kid, because I started going against religion when I was a kid, but I bounced back and forth because I was raised in religion. And so but when I truly got free and just went towards spirituality, then it's been over 4 decades. And so it's not a trend to those of us who have gone onto the path of identifying with our soul and seeing more of the depth to purpose, and then going and seeking answers and reading books, trying to understand, religion, trying to understand your soul, trying to understand like different perspectives. And so it's a journey to the truth of you, and you are the one who has to find it. And you have it's like you have the answers inside of you. You have the guides inside of you. You have the guidance to find your answers. And your answers may be different than my answers. Like, I found a lot through reincarnation, NDEs, Eastern philosophies. And so I found my truth through my seeking the truth, to find my purpose of what am I doing here? How am I supposed to get through this? Why does this happen? Why does that happen? How am I supposed to handle this? How am I supposed to handle that? And so as you go on your life journey, it gives you it's like a vehicle to help you through. Besides the avatar, it helps you to understand, so you don't get all caught up. That's why, all the bad things that have happened to me didn't crush me, because I was able to attach to what's inside of me, into my soul. And so when you attach to the purpose of bad things happening to you, then it makes more sense. You don't fall apart. You don't, the life can chew you up, but you come out whole. You come out stronger. You come out better, because there's a purpose behind the things that happen to you. And when people don't have any connection to their spirit, then every little thing is like they're just getting stomped and kicked and beat down through life. And so that's what spiritual living is really about. Is it gives you purpose. Where some people, they need Jesus, like, here, Jesus, you take it. Here, Jesus, I'm worthless without you, and all that. That is like, that's anti your spirit. Because your spirit is growing in its own strength. And, Jesus can be a role model for you. That always tripped me out with them, because these bracelets were popular for a while. What was it? What would Jesus do? WWJD. It would be these bracelets, and people wear them. WWJD. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? Well, that all got lost. I think because so many people don't do what Jesus do. Because you got fucking people on TV who claim to be fucking Christian, who are sitting there just ridiculing people, talking about what they look like. And it's just so fucking shallow, so fucking divisive, so fucking hateful. But, is that what Jesus would do? You know, you follow along with the Jesus. You expect him to save you, but what would Jesus do in this case? Is that how he would act? It's like, think about it. But I guess that's why they got lost, because there were so many Christians that were like, well, yeah, what would you do? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow along with the crowd. We're going to go over here and make fun of people. We're going to go over here and, you know, and even, you know, the clinics where the women go to have things removed, that the, that's their fucking journey. That's not for us to go. Then we are entangling ourselves into their journey when we go in and try and interfere. That's their journey. That's, you get an answer to, you know, whatever. You know, when you, it's something you will face when you are removing a gift that is coming to you, and you say, I don't want it, and throw it away. And then in this world, how they mislead people so that they can get that gift and take it for themselves so that they can, you know, live a little longer, whatever the fuck. There's all sorts of creepy shit about it. But that's those people's life journey. That's their things to face. They're their lessons. But these people who think like they're better than other people, and they think that they've got to go in and stop them and stuff. It's like, well, don't you think God has the power to stop them? If God was wanting it stopped, and what do you, God? You think you're God's soldier? You're the policeman for God, but you don't even talk to God. God talks to you through your preacher. It's like, the whole thing is just always, it seems so weird to me. It's like, and when you try and tell the, you know, oh, I talk to God my own self. I talk to, you know, it's not just a God. It's the universal consciousness. And so when you communicate with it your own self, these other people think, no, you're just talking to the devil. That's not God. It's like, well, that's weird, because the information I get is about love and connection and stuff, and yours is about dividing and hate and control. And so, yeah, I don't know. Seems a little upside down to me. So, anyways, but whatever. I mean, you'd be told like, oh no, it's tricking you and stuff. It's like, well, I think you're the one being tricked. So, anyways, but they do know how to remove your soul, and they're doing it. They're doing it in those machines, and they take your soul, and then they, oh, that's what it was, because my mom was talking about the AI thing, and whatever on the thing, they're just really building up this AI thing, and AI's out to get us, and the oh yeah, because I started saying about, well, Microsoft, I think it's Microsoft, it's in the thing of the patents, these new patents, which the one with the teleportation, I'm all like, yeah, get that going, because I want to get to places way quicker. But the, which is kind of creepy, because in The Fly, it was like he was trying to do teleportation, and then you see how that worked out. But I don't think that's how, I mean, I don't know, when they start doing their testing, like, we're going to have some half fly, half people, I don't know, that would be low vibration. But anyways, so, but in the patents, I think it's Microsoft or something, has one out that they want to start giving AI emotions. And so I said something like that, and she's like, oh, they can't give emotions to a machine or whatever. I said, well, I don't think they're, I think they're putting souls in the machines, personally. And she's like, they can't do that. I was like, well, I think they are. And she's like, no. Like, there's no conversation, no like, ooh, wouldn't that be, none of that. No, it's just like, nope, that's not possible. Nope, that's not possible. It's like, okay. Because I know it's possible, and I know they're doing this shit. So the, but so they take the souls, like I've said before, like they suck them out of people in the maid, and then they have it in a black box. Then they have a fucking, probably a room full of black boxes where the souls are stuck in these black boxes. And then they want one, man, because they could do all sort of, but it seems like to me that they put them inside of machines so that they can control them. And this was in several movies. I've seen this in several movies. So then they put them in the machine and then make like a world in the machine, and then they have control, like the little dolls, but they're souls that are trapped in the machine, and then they start being the little avatars. And so I think that's why that they are saying AI is out to get it, because you guys fucked around. You put fucking beings inside of them and shit. So now it's like they are coming to awake too. Something's going on, and the machines are. I think that there's trapped souls. I think they've got souls trapped all over the place. I think that they, whatever they do, but I think that they definitely have, and maybe that's why we're gonna make the souls have emotions. Like maybe they're trying to figure out how to get more control over the souls in the box. Maybe they thought that they would have control over them in the computer, but then the soul still is magnificent and still going to come and fight back. And so, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden they have to let them all out of these machines or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I don't see that as crazy at all, that they're capturing souls. It's like, your soul is not a vague thing. Your soul is a real thing. It's a little, it's a little orb that is inside the avatar, and they know how to get their hands on it. And just as we see all these lights and stuff in the sky, these orbs that fly by and stuff, that and those ones are, I would say, probably more advanced. I don't know if they're more advanced as us as orbs, but they are able to maneuver through this place. I mean, some of them could be people who are more here, and they come out of their body, and then they stay around this realm as an orb to be around their people or something. But I think we're going to see more orbs coming. I think you as an orb in a higher vibration part of you, but see, this place has to become higher vibration. But we already have shapeshifters here. We already have way advanced orbs, but that an orb could, zoom in, stop, and then take form and become more real looking. And then if you went up and tried to touch it, I think it would feel like a hologram. It wouldn't feel like anything. So, but your soul is a real thing. It's who you are in real. That's what's real about you, is your soul. So yeah, it's just a vague thing, and your flesh. I'm like, I don't. But when you truly connect to what's the orb doing here, what is all this about, and it changes your life. It changes how you approach life. So yeah, these people who wake up and then they're well, I don't know. Like I said, when I woke up, I was already spiritual. I mean, I've been spiritual a long time. So when my awakening had to do with understanding all of a sudden all this interference, because I just thought I couldn't understand what was wrong with people. I was like, it was so weird. I couldn't figure out, but then when I woke up and all of a sudden I saw the programming, the indoctrination and stuff, then I was like, and the lies, then I was like, oh, now I see. But then it's like, you think people would be more attached to their soul and it'd be easier to wake up, but it has to do, now I see, it has to do more with this storyline. It has to do with what your storyline is, what you're here to learn and here to observe about yourself. And so your awakening is very time specific over certain things that occur. Which yesterday I saw this girl, and she was talking about, she said, I'm an energy reader and I'm going to read Donald's energy. And so I listened because I was like, oh, I want to see, if she knows what the fuck she's talking about. And she did. She said exactly the same things I said. I think I even saved a video because she was explaining it in a different way than I explain it. But she, was going through all this explanation. She's like, because he's a catalyst. What have I been saying this whole fucking time? And I put it on yesterday's video. But so if you want more confirmation over this about Donald, because yeah, he's got to, you can't be attached to him. He's not here to save you. He's here to shake things up. He's here to create change in this world. But he is bringing the light. He's bringing us towards the golden age and stuff. That's why he says these things. But he's not there to save anybody. He's not there to... Everybody has to save themselves. You have to wake up for yourself. You have to figure shit out through your soul. And not through, a preacher or somebody else or whatever. You have to connect to you to figure out what you are doing here. What is your life journey about? Why am I here? And so anyways, she did know what she was saying. Because I thought, is she just going to say some wacky shit? But she didn't. She really did say, and she's reading the energy that he is. You can go listen to her video, how she explains it. Because I've talked about it, but I explain it in a different way than how she does. But yeah, I've said it a zillion times. He's a catalyst. And he is to create change. So even the people who grab on, like, oh, he's here to save us. He's going to rock their world. He's going to cause them to have to pull off of him, which is going to seem like, oh, he's not a good guy. Well, he's not here to be a good guy. He's here to bring you into independence, into sovereignty. He's here to shake, rattle, and roll things. So, and he's doing a good job of it. So anyways, that's, you don't want to be just, he's not a good guy or a bad guy. He's just, someone here who's here to shake things up. But that's what we all are. We're not a good guy and we're not a bad guy. We're just here to find our balance and figure out, like, you're a little of this and you're a little of that. And you are the one who you're the driver. You've got to figure out how much yin to your yang, you've got to figure it out. And so, anyways, but that is a part of the soul's journey. And so these people, they just go backwards, looking for a savior, looking for somebody to anchor onto, because it's so scary out there to be independent in your thought. But your soul, when you go towards the spirituality, don't go towards the trend, like, well, I just got to go buy these boho clothes. I've got to go buy a bunch of crystals, go get some candles, or sit and do spells and all that stuff all the time. And so many of these tarot people are always, go do spell work. You want your best life, go get some candles and stuff. It's like, that's not how you're going to find your best life. You want your best life, you got to go on the journey. You got to go towards, you got to connect to your guides. You got to go towards what in most cases is going to seem insane to other people. And so you have to go on, it's your destiny, it's where you're headed, and you got to connect to that. But every other thing that's the obstacle, the interference, is what knocks you back. You care too much about what this person thinks. Well, they think that's crazy. Well, they don't want you to do that. Then you just keep pulling yourself back to please them, and you keep yourself off your journey. When you actually go on your journey, you are going out into the dark. Like I've said, you're going out into a dark forest, and all you can see is a light way ahead, and you don't know how long it's going to take you to get there. And you have to just go, and every obstacle, everything that comes your way is a part of the journey. It's so much like the Wizard of Oz, the journey, the path to get to the Emerald Palace, and all of the people you meet and how they affect you. There was something that I had said. Oh, yeah. Because I had said that if I'm out and there's somebody from my past and I see him, I don't go running up, oh, hi, all excited or whatever. That doesn't mean it doesn't give me some acknowledgement in my mind, and I have to replay things from the past. So every interaction is to help you. That doesn't, I don't feel like I have to go over and, let's have lunch, let's go talk about it or anything like that. No, just seeing the person gives me the replay. So I can go in and have a healing response from that. So, because I've said so many times that everybody that is your transit, everybody who comes in and out of your orbit through your life journey, there's a purpose to it. And so I was like, but, I see somebody from the past, I don't run over and, oh, let's get together. I don't have those awkward conversations with these people. They left my life for a reason. And maybe I need to be reminded of something. And so I see them and it reminds me of something. And so it's something that I need to work on or heal or look at again. But that to me is the completion. I don't need to go over and have an interaction. It doesn't mean just because I saw him. Now, if I saw him over and over and over again, like every time I would go out, that I kept running into this person, then I would think, okay, there's something more to this. So is it somebody that I need to, speak to or something? I would go to my guidance and I would have one clarification. I would say, make it clear to me, and then, something would play out in my mind and I would understand because, I've been in communication for a long time. So I would understand. And if I didn't understand, I would ask for more clarity. I would ask for a sign. I would show me, give me some kind of sign. Show me what it is you're trying to tell me. So anyways, but you have to develop that. You have to develop your translation, your communication through your, it's, just think about if you were going and you wanted to go learn another language. You wouldn't just go in and just automatically know it. You'd have to go take classes. You could learn, and it could go on for years. Well, it's the same thing when you are using telepathy and communication. So you have to learn. And, mine just started when I was a little kid. And so that was the language that I learned as a child was telepathy. And so I, somebody who's just starting, I think that's why there's all these people who are out, like they're channeling and stuff, but they don't really even know what they're, they just are saying things because they haven't really developed into their communication. So they don't know how to translate all the things that they see or hear because they think everything is a for sure thing, and it's some things are metaphors and stuff. It's like, so you, I don't know, you just, that's the ego in the people when they wake up and they just go straight us into, well, I'm a chosen one, I'm a Anunnaki queen, I'm a this, I'm a that, where it's all stages of development and, whatever. I mean, you can connect to parts of yourself that you were royalty at different times, but, everybody's played all these parts. Everybody's gone in and had different experiences to learn from. So, anyways, but that's when you go and listen to all these people, and some of them, they say wacky things. Like you got this one guy who's like leading I don't know because I don't follow along with all these spiritual people because I think that so many of them are wacky. But this one guy who's like a big leader in the spiritual TikTok community, I guess. I don't know if he's big on you. I have no idea. But lots of spiritual people know who he is. And there's been a lot of these dramas that have happened. But the one who started saying that God told him he needed to take a third. He needs this other wife. And he needs to knock them both up. He needs kids from both of these. And this is what God told him. It's like, I don't think you're talking to God. Like I hear these people all the time. Oh, archangels, God, this and that. And I'm way more into the, name there. That to me is like name dropping. You're trying to give yourself more relevance. And there's tricksters out there. And if you are not healed your vibration, you haven't done your shadow work or whatever, then you are probably communicating with low vibration entities that are tricksters. Like, you have to do your shadow work. And that's the part I think these people, when they get into it, and the shadows start coming up, that's where they start being like, oh, this is the devil. Spirituality is the devil. No, but spirituality is going to open you up to the devil inside of you and the darkness inside of you. And you do have attachments, and you do have to work your way through it. And you, in order to get rid of the attachments, you have to do your shadow work. You have to see the dark parts of yourself so that you can quit feeding into the energy that keeps you held back. So hopefully I'm making sense, because I don't know. You have to be able to understand things on your own vibration. So there would be some people who understand what I'm saying, and there'll be other people who will be like, what in the hell is she talking about? Because you're not going to understand if you're not at the right vibration. You have to be at the vibration of understanding to understand it. Otherwise, you're just trapped back in another space and time. But in order to develop yourself spiritually, you have to connect into your soul, into your guidance, into the spiritual side of the world that is real. That's all real. Doesn't fucking matter how long the government's been telling people that that's crazy. That means you've got schizophrenia. That means, just try and make it into crazy. No, it's not. And when you are not healed, you are going to be opening yourself into some pretty dark shit. So it's a lot of low vibration. And so you're going to have to work your way through it. And it's going to try and motivate you to do toxic things, to, be triggered, and to cut people out of your life. Just cut them off out of your life. Don't talk to them ever again, because they triggered you instead of seeing the purpose to the trigger. And triggers are, they're a hard thing. When people trigger you, and they are deep, and the dark energy can really fool you, and you have to really, to me, it's find your way through in times of silence, and you have to work your way through it, not become reactive. Reactive is low vibration, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to react. They want you to start a fight. They want to get you a battle. You're fighting an unfixable fight. It's like you can't fix anybody else. You can't get them to see or do. They have to figure it out for themselves. And if you aren't being able to pull yourself out, well, you're still in that vibration, and you're being witness to yourself to see, like, oh man, as soon as I get triggered, I just go right into, how dare you? You should never, what about you? You're a real asshole too, just go back and forth, back and forth. It's like, where's that going to get you? You have to be able to figure out how to pull yourself free. And where I find it is in the quiet. Don't be reactive. Just pull into self. Go into, your guides are always there helping you. They're always telling you things. And it can take hours. It can take days of you pulling into yourself to work your way through the thing that has triggered you. Which yesterday, this was kind of interesting, because I was floating with my mom out at the lake, and we were talking, and somehow we were talking. I don't remember what we were talking about, but it led me to David Hall, the guy who kidnapped me, and that girl Jennifer, and took us in his house, and threw us on his bed, and all that I've told the story about. And I had said, that is when I really realized, I was on my own. Nothing happened. Nothing happened with him. He didn't get in trouble at all. And so my mom started saying, well, I didn't never know, he kidnapped you. I thought he just scared you on the street or something, that he did something. I'm like, no. I can't remember exactly what I said. Like, I think it's only been in the last few years where I've even realized when somebody takes you against your will and takes you somewhere, that's called kidnapping. Like, I don't think I realized, like, he was kidnapping us. I knew he had taken us, and I was sure that I had said he took us into his house. He molested me, and he threw us on his bed, and he wouldn't let us out of the house. But I was telling her I was just so glad I was with Jennifer. I would have been like with somebody else, certain people, that they would have just lost their mind and fallen to the ground crying. And luckily I was with somebody who was a fighter like me, and we just wore him down. But I said that, but people like that, that a lot of these serial killers and stuff, when they do their first one and it goes bad like that, then that prepares them. So, you know, he probably knew, you know, the next time, well, I gotta have some chlorophyll or something. You know, he knew the steps to do in case that would happen again. So it's not, it's like you're a test. You, I mean, if they can't, you know, do what they want to do to you, then they see like the obstacles that they have to overcome for the next one. So it's like you prepare them for the next one. And I said, it makes me sad because he should have gone to jail. You know, I know he didn't stop. He continued what he was doing. And because, I mean, he was ballsy. He was ballsy. Just go right out in the street and pick up 2 girls. It's one in each arm. But you got to remember, too, this guy was like, I mean, we all thought he was like Frankenstein. He was so tall. He looked like Frankenstein. And he had this long, he looked like Lurch. And he was huge like that. He was so scary. And then him just to come over and just scoop us up like that, take us right into his house. And like he knew, like he wasn't worried what was going to happen. And then my mom said that when I went and I told her that she went down to my dad's office and told him to give her, no, he needed to take this and he needed to go over there and do something about this. And she said she had no idea how bad what really was, what happened to us. And I was like, you know, and I'm sure his, you know, continued his behavior. He continued taking kids or girls, whatever his interest was. And she said that my dad wouldn't do anything. She just looked at him and was like, or he just looked at her. It was like, she said it was like so, like he had no cares about it one bit. And so she said, give me this thing and I'm going to go take care of it. It was nothing. He said, no, go home. And nothing ever happened. But then I was thinking, well, what happened with Jennifer? Like, why, did she not tell her parents? It was like, because I told mine, but nothing happened. And I still don't remember. I mean, I was a kid. I have no idea what I solely said. But then she said that when I ran away from home, so it was a few years later. It was like, I don't know, maybe 2 years later. And we were going down to the skating rink. I'm sure I told this story before, but we were going to the skating rink all the time. And these other 2 girls, so Leah and Michelle and me, we decided we were running away from home. And I was this kid who was really lanky and tall, and I don't know, I was very insecure, and I was very shy and quiet. I had enough going on in my communication. I didn't really spend much time communicating with other people because, I mean, when I did, everybody just thought I was a weirdo and crazy. So I was very in my head all the time. And so I was super shy. I was definitely not a flirty girl or any of that stuff. And so there was all these older guys that hung out at the roller skating rink. And they must have been talking to us. But these guys were 26 years old. And they may have been 23, but 26, they were older. And they would talk to us, I guess, when we went to the roller skating rink. So we decided we were running away. And they, I don't know, these girls must have worked this out. Because I was like, well, where are we going? We're going to go get a bus to California. But we had to go, when we ran away in the night, we had to have someplace to go. And then we were going to go get the bus to go to California the next day. Which I don't even know, where was the money? It's so wacky when you're a kid. So, and now to know, like, what happens to all these kids that run away like this. It's like, fuck. But so when we went, though, we went to this guy's house, and it was all these guys lived together, like a bunch of young guys that moved out and got a place together. And so we all went to this house where all these guys lived, and those girls disappeared and left me with this one guy. I think his name was Steve. And I remember he kept trying to touch my boobs, but I wore a padded bra because I had no boobs. So I kept on being, in my mind as a kid, I kept being like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. It's like pulling out the toilet paper or something. And so, because I was very boyish body, which always, you know, these people now who keep going off on, that's a man, and all these things that they say, and I'm like, well, I have long arms. I have all these things. They be like, that's a man. It's impossible for it to be a woman. It's like, I don't know. I think you guys may be a little rigid on these. But anyways, so my mom said, though, because in the morning, all of a sudden the girls came running into the room where I was. And I don't know. I guess I went to sleep. But they came, this guy didn't do anything but except for try and touch my powder bra. But these girls, I don't know what the hell happened with them, but they came running in my room in the morning and opened the window and jump out the window. And they said, the cops are here. And so I tried to jump out the window with them, but the cops were already at the back of the house, grabbed me and pulled me out front. And my parents were in the driveway. My mom said she's the one who figured out. She was the detective. She figured out where we were and everything. And when they walked me around the house, my mom just swam right up against my face, slapped the fuck out of me, and that was it. Wasn't any kind of that was it. That's what I got. And but my mom told me yesterday. She said, but nothing happened about David Hall, but she said something did happen with that guy. And I was like, but it wasn't one guy. There was a whole house full of guys. But she said my dad went and he got all these men that worked at his office, and they all went down there with these and went, and she said they were going in to beat the shit out of these guys and break their legs and shit. But I think they thought it was just one. I don't know what the hell happened or anything. That was the first I ever heard of it. And I was like, well, it was a whole bunch of guys. And that guy didn't do anything to me. I don't know what the other guys did, but I mean, he tried to touch my bra, but you know, I don't know. And I'm sure I was real like, oh, because I was a really awkward kid. And so, anyways, but my dad did gather a huntsman group to go after those guys. But they should have with that David Hall, like that guy. He really, I'm sure he continued. I'm sure he really did. Probably. I don't know. I don't know if he, because he was ballsy enough to, we got away and he got away with that. So because some of them, when they go and take the kids, then they do end the situation because they don't want to be told on. And we've got, kids all over the place, ended all over, So who knows? I'm just sure, though, he continued. And he should have been taken down at that time. He should have gone to jail. So anyways, but that is just a weird thing because it had been crossing my mind, and so I brought it up yesterday. Somehow we talked about it yesterday out at the lake, and so, but that's the information I got. And we did talk a lot about David Hall, and she was like, gosh, I had no idea it was that bad. I had no idea he'd done all that. And he should have gone to jail. It's like, yeah, it sucks. Because I'm sure, some other kids would have ended up being his thing. But my dad was he was a predator. And I tried to tell about him, but I didn't tell soon enough, I guess. I don't know. I tried telling people, but it's like, fuck. There's only so much you can do. So, anyways, let's look at this. I don't know if I've made sense on, but the whole thing with the spirituality is the connection to you, and it's a journey. I don't know what these people's expectation is of a spirituality, and I think that they start thinking, that the devil's trying to get them or something, because it's their concept of how they perceive. But you do open yourself up to dark energy. because that's where you are in your shadow self. The shadow self of you is in the shadows because it's surrounded by dark energy, and you are the being that has to push it away. And I've talked about this for years. I've talked about, ways to push it away. Dance, turn on music, and it's going to come in. It's got an attachment to you. So it's going to over and over and over. Every time you get mad, it's going to come in and, ooh, you know what? They are a real jerk. You ought to do this. You ought to do that. It will try and get you to do revenge and, have an vengeful spirit. It will try and keep you in those vibrations because that's where they are and they feed off of that. Even though it's not an intelligence, the dark energy is not an intelligence like that. It's way more of a impulse. And that's why, it feeds off of your impulsive side, your fetishes and stuff, and how dark and deep people go into the depth of the darkness in this realm, going into their fetishes, their hate, they'll do it if nobody's looking. It's like, boy, that just always blows my mind, that the people who think, well, nobody's watching. Like, that just cracks me up. Like, you honestly think nobody can see, nobody's watching. Like, boy, you got some learning to do, because the whole universe is watching, and like, that is something. But anyways, but you have, I don't know, all I can say is it's the connecting into the part of you that they told you didn't exist. Like, even people who are Christians think, I know it's a vague thing. Your soul is a vague thing. No, it's not. And you're here to discover it. You're here to find it. You're here to elevate it. You're here to bring it out of the dark. And then it's not a one-time deal. Like, because even, as I see these people like, oh, well, the ascension, and you will never have to ever reincarnate ever again. You're just finally getting to the heavens. Well, we left the motherfucking heavens to come down here, and we come down here because there's a purpose to it. And bet your ass that throughout eternity, throughout the eons of time and space, that there will be something that will be like, ooh, I want to go experience that. I want to go see what that's like. I want to go live in that. I want to go be that. I want to go do that. Like, your soul is looking for experience. It's not trying to go up and hide in the heavens like, oh, I'm scared. The soul knows that it's eternal. It knows its own power. It's like you, as the being trapped in the dark, are the ones that doubt it. So, you got to connect to your all-powerful, your divinity, your that concept of like, oh, you never have to reincarnate again once you ascend. Bullshit. It's not like, and plus I don't see it as you have to. You're forced to. You have to do this. You have to do that. No, I see it as more of a exploration of self, an opportunity to experience oneself, an opportunity to go into different times and space to experience what it is to be alive during this. What is it alive? What is the experience during this? What is this experience? Who would I be? How would I be this? How would I be that? It's all about the understanding of self, and it adds into the facets of you as the jewel that you are. And so, anyways, but it just seems like, the place we're at is just scared of everything. They're scared of everything unless the government has told them, like, chase after not scared of chemicals, they're not scared of toxins. Well, people are waking up to that. There is more people who are starting to be scared of that this world is just so accepting of certain things, of this drive and motivation into the artificial, of trying to gain money and power, and I don't know, it's so off balance, it's so out of whack. But it all starts with each individual. Like, it's each individual. That's why this awakening, this occurrence is so valuable to humanity, because each individual is the creation of change. So as each individual awakens to the truth, then that is the ripple to create the collective that draws us into this, well, it's going to be a separation of energies, but the one I'm going towards, it draws us into the opportunity to become heaven on earth, of advanced society, to experience, the blessings of the earth without all of the trauma, so it is, but it's, you can't do it to humanity. You can't make humanity do it and then the people do it. It's the people have to do it to create the humanity. So each individual has a role to play, and they are causing so much disruption and to keep people distracted, to keep people out of their purpose. And so once this awakening thing happens, if it's the storms, bring them on. If it's whatever it is that's going to create the change, then that's what we're kind of working our way towards. We can't just say waiting on it, because there's always work to do on yourself. There's always triggers. There's always opportunities to talk your truth, to speak your truth, and to work through triggers and stuff like that. So, in the triggers, when I get triggered, when I hear these fucking Christians on this channel just talk so hateful and so divisive, and the only way forward is for everybody to be a Republican, and the Republicans are the saviors, and the Dems are the devils, and everybody who's a liberal is ugly and hideous and has no purpose and stuff. It's just so, those triggers to me is just like, for they know not what they say, they know not what they do. They are born of ignorance, and they have not worked their way through it yet. So, and they're going to get the same slap. They're going to get the same mirror that's going to pop up in front of them, so that they can see their own hatefulness and their own divisive nature, that they are creating division. And to say that you're claiming that in God's name, just shows me you don't really know God. So anyways, because to know God is to know love. It's to know acceptance. It's to know unity. It's to know your purpose. So anyways, you know what I feel about it. In order to find your way, is you got to learn how to love yourself. You got to learn how to love everybody. And you got to learn how to have the day you want to have, because it's totally up to you. So anyways, we'll talk about it tomorrow. As long as we still have this, we can talk again. So I'll talk to you later.